everyone. This is my weekly vlog on the topic someone who inspires me. And I don't want to be mainstream, but I feel like I would say my dad inspires me the most. I know a lot of people set their role models as their parents because they're the two figures that you kind of like see your entire life and who are always with you and kind of have the most impact on you and who you are as a person. But I think I would say my dad inspires me the most because of the way he conducts himself, his the way he's brought my brother up, and the way he treats us as his kids, but also as responsible adults and people he can kind of, how he influences us, and a bunch of other qualities. I hope to inherit from him, um, over over the rest of my life. I think I think one of my favorite qualities about my dad, apart from the fact that he always goes above and beyond to make me feel loved and happy and cheer me up when I'm upset or try to talk to me, I think would be how he just knows so much about so much. Like he knows like a little about everything, and he's really easy to facilitate conversation with. He's really easy to learn from in conversation, which is a huge part of what I want to get from him, like a quality I'd want to learn from him. And yeah, I would say that's a huge part of the reason I really respect him, is because he just knows so much and he's so knowledgeable. And I've never had like one dull conversation or one stupid conversation with him, because there's always something to take away. There's always humor. He's a very funny guy, and it's just very enjoyable to talk to him. Another thing I really respect about him is how, growing up, he's never enforced on me the idea that, oh, you have to be the best at academics. You need to I would get like He never got mad at me if I got a B on a test, or like did terribly on an exam. Like, he's always emphasized the idea of working hard for something. And sure, he gets mad at me when he sees that I'm not actually putting my all into something I do, but he's never once gotten mad at me when he knows that I've put my like full effort in, and I just didn't score well, or something just didn't work out in my favor. And I think that's a very important part about being a parent, or just being an individual, is appreciating the journey more than the result, or more than a destination. And I think he's kind of like the embodiment of that. So I'm very grateful to be able to have like grown up with that kind of figure in my life. Another reason he's my role model is because he works so incredibly hard. Kind of relates back to the previous point I said, but I know that he works really hard. I've seen him like growing up. I remember he's always on time to work, always in meetings, or he's frankly a workaholic, and I know he's doing that to provide for like our family. But he immigrated to the US, and I can only imagine how difficult it is for someone who's grown up in India his whole life, or until he was like 30 or so, and to just move across the world to a different country and just start a whole new life here. So I've always admired him for that, for his courage. And even my mom, they both kind of I've always admired them for being able to do what they've done so far. And that's definitely another key factor. Is I always look at him and I'm like, I want to be this successful. I want to be this hardworking when I grow up, and even throughout the rest of my life. Another reason I look up to my dad is because this is just a side note, but he cooks really well, and I don't know who taught him how to cook, because I'm not I don't I just really don't know where he learned how to cook, but eventually he did, and he learned how to make Indian dishes. He cooks for my mom. He cooks for our entire family sometimes. He makes the best food. And I love how he's able to do so many different things. He's just he's very talented now that I think about it, and I don't usually think about it, but like he does a lot. And as someone who can't cook myself, I want to know how he learned, because, or like who taught him, or was this all just, he picked it up by himself. These are things that kind of like inspire me about him. He's so adaptable, and he can really just like, well, I mean, I guess he's like 50 now, but he can like live on his own, you know what I mean? I feel like back when he first moved here, if I was at that age, I would simply just be like, I would not be that independent. So that's definitely another factor. I would say another thing is I kind of like spoke about this a bit, but he is one of the most loving people I know. He's always gone like out of his way to make sure I know that I'm loved and that he appreciates me. And I remember he was dropping me off at college, both him and my mom, and the entire car ride from Sacramento to LA, he would hold my hand. Like, he would be driving, but his hand would be outstretched in the back holding mine. And I think he's always just kind of showed me, he gives me hugs all the time and kisses and good nights every day. And I think he's always gone out of his way to show me that I'm loved, to never feel like, oh, I belong in the family. And he's always just kind of done that for me ever since I was born. And I've never looked at my parents and thought like, oh, do they love me, or do they appreciate me, or any of that. And I think that's also kind of like key, like weighed into the fact that I'm confident now, and I know that I have people I can rely on, and I know that I'm loved in a good amount. So I think that makes me feel happier. It's definitely a key contributing factor to my happiness. And so even when he's not around, just the thought of him, and like how much he loves me is always constantly at the back of my mind. And I think I would not be able to get through a single day if I didn't know that. So that's definitely a reason he inspires me. And I would want to be him as a parent for my kids, or I would want to find someone like him to be a dad for my kids. But yeah. Anyway, have a lovely Wednesday and the lovely rest of the week, and you'll see me next week with a better vlog.